The Alchemist Shop from LEGO Castle is my favorite medieval set that's come out in a really long time. It's better than the Horse Knight Castle, Medieval Town Square, and honestly, it might even beat the set that inspired its creation. There is so much to talk about with this set, mostly about the build and the building experience of it, but I still want to quickly talk about the minifigures as I think it's worth it, and they do look pretty cool. The shopkeeper looks great and uses some awesome prints and molds that came out over the past couple of years. Her hair is a bright pink recolor that's new for 2026, while her dress and pair accessory come from last year. The reason I'm pointing this out is because the designer said that he wanted to get as many new prints and pieces into the set as he could. This is something that you're going to notice more and more as we start looking at the different interiors of the shop and the minifigures. Which, speaking of, next up we have this simple ghost that also came in the same set as the shopkeeper's dress. The Shroud ghost piece is a great addition here as it only came in the Haunted Mansion before this set released. It's also a great homage to the classic era of Castle, where these ghosts were fairly common to see. I can think of so many sets from classic Castle that had these ghosts in them. And this is actually the first time I've ever had one of these pieces, and I gotta say, it looks pretty cool. I really like it. Next up, we have the Alchemist, who carries around his notes and wears a pretty simple outfit. The best part about this figure for me is getting a set of these plain dual-molded black and brown legs. This piece first came out in a Disney set from last year and has since been used in some other Bricklink sets. It's a great pair of dual-molded legs for any Castle fan, and I really like that they included it here in this set. Other than that, there's not anything too exciting about this guy, and he kinda sticks out among the other figures for looking, I don't know, a bit drab. On the other hand, we have the Herbalist, who fits in great with the style of this set, and he's got some fitting accessories with his shears and leaf. The overalls and brown boots also look great together and is tied together nicely with an expressive face print and some shaggy hair. This figure really embodies the cheerful fantasy world of this set, and the same is true for all of the knights and bandits that come with the set. These guys mostly use parts from the Horse Knight Castle, but they've got some different accessories that make them feel a bit more unique than a regular castle set. This Kraken Raider has a unique bent staff and a low ponytail hairpiece that I don't think I've ever seen used before. She also comes with a separate snake headpiece that fits more into the lore of the set, with the idea behind it being that this Kraken Raider is seeking a cure for a curse, and once cured she can swap out the snakes for her regular hair. It's a fun explanation as to why she's at the shop and gives the set a pretty good excuse to have multiple accessories for her figure. Many of the other figs also have alternate headpieces, which I love to see. The shopkeeper has a simple hood, the griffin has a barboot helmet, and these two horsemen have special metallic variants of the nasal helmet. This piece normally comes in the same flat silver as the barboot. Instead, these horses have a more chrome finish that is pretty unique for modern castle sets. LEGO used to use this metallic silver in its old sets from around the late 2000s and early 2010s, though they'd eventually switch over to the flat silver that we all know and love today. I am excited to see these helmets here as it's a bit uncommon and can be nice for making shiny knights that haven't seen a lot of battle. Anyways, the knights all look great, and getting to have an alternate hair or helmets for them is a real treat that you really don't see that often. The designer clearly wanted to pick out some unique hair pieces and accessories that fans of the set didn't already have. It was a super thoughtful move, and I appreciate it a lot as someone who hasn't bought the new hair pieces off of Pick-a-Brick in a pretty long time now. To finish off the discussion about the figures, we have this Raider, who wears a bomber jacket with a zipper. Clearly, this figure stands out because of it, but at the end of the day, I don't really care. It's not a huge deal, because she at least comes with some other nice parts like more dual-molded legs. Overall, I love the minifigures in this set, and I don't think the designer could have picked anything better for this set to come with. We're now going to move on to the very first thing that you build in this set. The Alchemist Shop comes with this gorgeous traveling potion stall. As someone who cares a lot about the building experience of a set, this horse-drawn cart is a perfect appetizer for the rest of the build. You get what is basically a micro version of the whimsical D&D style fantasy that the set is aiming to emulate. From the ludicrous amount of trinkets to the design symmetry of the oversized potion and color scheme, this little cart is a distilled version of everything I love about the main build. There is so much to look at here, but it doesn't look busy because the accessories on display feel motivated by the minifigure that uses them. It all makes sense. Of course, a traveling alchemist would have potions, herbs, and a lockbox of coins in the back. Which, speaking of, the extra satchel on the back of the cart could be used when he's out foraging for rare medicinals and herbs. The loot on the side could be used when he has a quiet moment alone to play some music. It is seriously such a great taste of the main build, and I could honestly talk about this for another 5 to 10 minutes, so let's move on from the cart for the sake of time. The Alchemist Shop itself is one of the most beautiful looking LEGO medieval buildings that I have ever seen in a set. The warm autumn palette is such an inviting and cozy color scheme to go for that I think is what really makes this building stand out from the colder buildings that we're used to seeing as Castle fans. The reddish-brown timber frame will be familiar to fans of LEGO Castle, and is complemented well by the inclusion of a medium nougat support beam on both sides of the house. It looks terrific next to the tan plaster walls, and also kind of implies a texture difference between everything around it. On the back side of the house, we'll find a dark orange and medium nougat chimney that looks absolutely gorgeous. The chimney gets narrower as it climbs by using some jumper plates that push the chimney half a stud smaller every time it's used. Nearing the top of the chimney, the orientation switches, which gives this perfect slim finish as it protrudes out of the roof and is capped off with some gray parts. It's amazing to me how nice this angle of the set looks, since it's a viewing angle that you're not likely to ever see again after you finish building the set. It really just goes to show how much love and attention was put into the design, and makes this set stand out from the rest of the LEGO Castle Bricklink Designer sets. If you've already built this set yourself, you'll probably know what I mean by that. This truly does build and look like a LEGO design set rather than a fan one. It's honestly incredible. The very back side of the house has a small apiary and some printed bees with some more of those flowering vines that we saw in the chimney. As basic as it is, this simple visual storytelling does a lot to make the building experience more fun and also just looks lovely once it's finished. Though I do think that this could have been pushed a little bit further with an additional bee near the other vines on the chimney. Thankfully though, the set actually comes with an extra one, so we can make this modification pretty easily ourselves. Continuing around the side, we'll find a smaller version of those blue toadstool mushrooms and a little water fountain. The sculpt on the fountain is quite simple looking, but it looks great and has this summery, almost Italian look to it. It's very warm and inviting. We also get some more visual storytelling with an empty watering bucket and a bunch of potted plants to its left. We're now back to the front of the shop where we started, so we can take a quick look at the garden. We've got a bunch of bright pink and violet flowers here, with some yet to bloom, and there's also this adorable little snail munching on a leaf. The tree above this is similar to the one found in the Medieval Blacksmith, but has a different style of foliage and color that reads as a bit, moodier to me. I think it fits the set, but it's definitely a different vibe than the Medieval Blacksmith. Next to the garden, we've also got a crate of potions and a bag for the alchemist to take out on the road. Again, more of that visual storytelling that makes this set feel so realistic. If we move up the steps towards the shop entrance, we can find a stickered sign on both sides and a small stone balcony. Tilting upwards, we have the oversized potion that takes this set from a really good medieval-inspired house to a whimsical alchemist shop that looks like it came straight out of a video game or a theme park. I don't know that this set would have made it all the way through the Bricklink Designer Program if it weren't for this final design flourish. It's perfect, I love it so much, and it's what made me buy the set. The same is true for the tiled roof that is directly inspired from the Medieval Blacksmith and looks fantastic. The dark green and regular green complement this warm autumn scene beautifully and just pops so well. The designer really knew what they were doing here, and it shows. We've taken a look at pretty much the entire exterior of the set, so we can now finally get to my favorite part about this set: the interiors. Just like this set's inspiration, you can remove the top 2 floors and one panel off of the roof, revealing one of the best interior experiences I've ever had the pleasure of building. We'll start from the bottom and move our way up. The ground floor is home to the Alchemist Lab, where we can find a lot of trinkets, potions, and many other practical items for the figure. He's got a mortar and pestle with some herb already in it, a green alembic, and some empty flasks. There's also an hourglass on the table for our alchemist to use. Again, the visual storytelling, I keep saying it, it's unbelievably good throughout this entire build. Next to the workbench, we have an oven with some bright liquids bubbling away. A lot of the magical items and trinkets and potions in this set have this speckled, like almost glittery pattern to them that looks so good and really stands apart from like regular transparent parts that you would normally see in a set like this. Anyways, tucked into the corner, we have a small writing desk with some recipes for what looks to be a love potion, a sleep aid, and a poison. You may have already noticed it, but this wall has a special bookcase that can actually slide back to reveal a hidden room under the stairs. Inside, there's another book with some more alchemy notes, and inside the chest are some gems and a coin. It's pretty hard to see on camera, but there's also a frog and a little bit of water leaking into the building. This workshop was so much fun to build, and it had me excited to see what the other floors had to offer as I was building the set. So let's move on to the main floor. This is occupied by the shop and thankfully has a ton of space for the shopkeeper and all of her customers to walk around in. We've got a massive display shelf here with a bunch of different potions and a magical gem in an open drawer. Attached to the shelf is the shopkeeper's desk that has a brick-built scale and a price chart for those same 3 potions that we previously saw the recipe for. Behind the desk, we can find a bunch of scrolled up parchments, potions, and a broom. We've also got the fireplace and mantle that holds a cup for the shopkeeper. Underneath the stairs, we can find a sealed barrel and a log for the fire. Next to the entrance, we have a very small table with some more potions, including the love potion from the stickered tiles. Then finally, there's also this magical torch that fits right in with the rest of this build. This floor had such a great change of pace. You still got all of the whimsical potions and trinkets found in the lab, but it also had this more homey and inviting presence that you'd expect from a store. It very much felt like an antique store, if that makes sense to you. It was a lot of fun to build, but I think I still preferred building the lab as it had more, it had more going on for me. Anyhow, next up we have the top floor, which is the shopkeeper's bedroom. One of my favorite parts of this room is the brick-built vanity in front of the window. There's a potted plant, a mirror, and 3 potions, or more likely perfumes. I want to say potions though, because all 3 of these have a pretty strong resemblance to the ones found in the recipe sheet and the price chart. I know it's more likely to be perfume since it's on top of a vanity, but I don't know, the shapes are pretty similar to me, and you could headcanon it pretty easily. Anyhow, we've also got this basic framed bed and another treasure chest. The bed's probably the most boring part of this build, but thankfully above this, on the rafters, we'll find a bunch more trinkets like empty potions, a 4-leaf clover, and a unicorn horn. The unicorn horn was a really clever inclusion here and isn't something I would have thought of myself. But that's not all. Tucked into the shadows, we'll find a dollhouse that looks an awful lot like the medieval blacksmith. The perfect homage and final treat that you get when building this set. I have not had this much of a good time building a LEGO set in a long time. The last set that gripped me as much as this one was probably the Lion Knight's Castle from 2022. I am big on interiors, and this one, much like the Lion Knight's Castle, knows how to do a good LEGO interior. I am so impressed by this set. Pretty much everything about it is unbelievably good. But I can't help but get a little bit sad though, because this set is no longer available to buy. Most of you watching aren't going to be able to buy this set for a decent price because it was only sold for a week through the Bricklink Designer series. That is such a shame because I would want all LEGO Castle fans that can afford a $200 set to experience the Alchemist Shop. I can't praise it enough and wish all the best to its designer Shram. You did such a fantastic job. I love this set a ton and would recommend it to anyone that can find it for a reasonable price. I paid retail, but honestly, I could see myself spending another $50 to even $100. This set is really good, and I couldn't recommend it more. I keep repeating it, but it's a shame that this isn't a retail available set at like any store. It's easily my favorite set since the Lion Knight's Castle, and it's perfect. Anyways, thank you all so much for watching, and a big thank you goes out to all of my channel members: Gyojo, Faisal, Rio Bricks, Walktermeister, Ryzen Covers, Peter, Daventrio Bricks, Space Marine 5869, Nimble Saucepan, The Squad Up Kid, Bins Yuin, Emperor Bradicus, Fin6 Pat, and all of my other members for supporting the channel.